National Little Red Wagon Day.
Wow, you are going deep into the interweb tonight.
You know what's funny is I was joining and the countdown was ending, and my microphone came unplugged, and I'm like, oh no, Jeff's gonna have to talk first before I talk.
Now, would you still have your finger on the mute button if I was talking?
Yes, I would, of course.
So I couldn't get stuff out that I wanted to because
Yeah,
you'd
yeah,
still
absolutely.
be able to mute me.
But yeah, it's National Little Red Wagon Day. Did you know that?
I did not know that. I'd honestly be ashamed of myself if I did know that.
But you remember those little red wagons that you pulled around as a kid?
Radio flyer.
Yeah. It's in remembrance of those and all the memories you made as a kid with those, and the memories you would make with your kids of those.
Yeah, I mean, I remember going like Mach 3 down a hill in one of those. Why
does that not surprise me?
But it didn't end well. My kids are so freaking soft these days. My kids had one of them, and they had the little, like an umbrella shade over the top of it, so their little parts of skin wouldn't get burned.
There's so many medical precautions now that you have to follow. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I am to blame for that. As anybody that used to be in EMS, like when the girls learned how to ride their bikes, they were covered head to toe, because I've been on every bad call where a kid broke their wrist, fell, broke a leg, did all that. So they had helmets and the shin guards and the elbow pads and the gloves and everything.
Well, I guess if you're in that, you're gonna.
And no trampoline has ever been in my backyard.
No. Abby had one, and we were told we had to take it down because of our insurance.
Yeah.
And like she cried for days. Like, I think it's really affected her.
What a horrible life she has now because she didn't have a trampoline.
Yeah.
I was on some pretty bad calls from trampolines.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're dangerous.
She used to run outside. This is probably, she was 6, 7, maybe. Mom, running outside to jump on the tramp. She's called the tramp.
Oh, the tramp.
Oh, well, happy Tuesday, everybody. We do these lives for you. We've had tons of people ask questions, and we said, let's do a live every week so we can answer those questions and educate about the South Carolina market and find out what you want to know about the market, and then, have a little fun while we're doing it, right?
Yeah, and if you want to go back, Mark, and watch this video after tonight, look at my face after you said jump on the tramp, because I went blank for a second, and that was actually, you could see in my head my filter kicking in and stopping the words that were about to come out of my mouth.
There was like the little mouse running on the wheel, and he ran. There
was, but I could not focus on what else to say. I blanked out there for about 3 seconds.
I'm proud of you. You did a good job.
It's the filter. I'm working on it.
So tonight, Jeff, I thought we would get into kind of how we helped one of our clients tonight. We'll go over some stats. I've got some Charleston economic stuff that we can go over. Just all the new businesses and stuff coming here. A few stats. We'll ask our normal question. So don't forget to get ready for your answer. And the question is always, how many single family homes that went under contract last week were over $1 million? So that question will be coming up. I'll let you know how many single family homes went under contract. And out of those, you're going to tell us how many were over 1 million. We've had some pretty close people so far. So
I've been getting a little cocky for about a month, saying I was going to do well, and then I didn't do well. So I'm not going to overinflate like my confidence level tonight that I'm going to do well.
Okay, good. Jackie's on with us. What's up, Jackie? How's it going? Jackie said that Nora, her daughter, got a boxer's fracture on a trampoline. I have no idea what that is.
It's a fracture. Who cares? That's terrible. Yeah, they're horrible.
Yeah.
And we are actually going to have, that'll be a good question. So we've got, in probably 2 weeks, we're going to have our insurance guru on.
Oh, yeah, end of the month. Yeah.
Yeah, and so and she does auto and home and all that stuff, but she's going to be able to answer all your insurance questions. We'll have to remember to ask her about that. And then you know what else I want to ask her about is about breeds of dogs.
Yeah. She's a straight shooter too. Like she's from New Jersey. She's gonna tell us how it is and what we should do with insurance and what we shouldn't do with insurance. And it's gonna be fast and furious. I'm excited for it.
Well, I've still got a bone to pick with her because she's the reason I don't have my Bronco anymore.
Oh, okay.
So, but I trust her.
I don't have my truck anymore either.
Yeah.
Robert's on from New Jersey. Speaking of New Jersey, what's up, Robert? How's it going? Hope you're doing well tonight. And we got about 17 other people on with us too. Thanks so much for inviting us into your homes and on your tablets and on your phones. We appreciate it.
I want to lay a little groundwork here because you've been dealing with this one client that we're going to tell a little story about today.
Yeah.
And I didn't have much involvement with it.
That's okay.
But like the stars aligned.
Oh yeah. God was in this one for sure.
So don't expect this on every deal that we work.
No, but
we've
been looking for this client for a while, and these are the type of things that when they pop, that you got to be ready to go and be ready to pull the trigger for sure.
Yeah.
Kyle says, "Hey guys, love watching your videos." Thanks, Kyle. Question: working in healthcare, would you recommend living in Homecoming or Six Oaks or something else similar? I think it depends on where in healthcare he's going to work, right, Jeff? Because if he's going to be downtown, that's a different story than being up here in Summerville.
Right. Yeah. In Summerville, there's currently 2 hospitals and there's a third coming. But even from Homecoming, which we're big fans of Homecoming, Six Oaks is great also. Like from Homecoming all the way over to the other side of Summerville, if you were working at like Berkeley Roper, that would be a pretty decent drive also. Not just going down. There is a lot of healthcare halfway to downtown Charleston also. Yeah. So Trident Hospital, there's a big hospital down a little bit closer to 526 over off Ashley Phosphate area. And then, of course, all the hospitals downtown. So I would say it depends on where you're working, like Mark says.
Yeah.
But those are 2 great neighborhoods.
For sure. Curtis says, of a median home price around 500, 550, which is pretty close, in preferred areas, why is over $1 million important? It's not
just a game we play.
Yeah. People like me and Jeff can't afford over $1 million. So, we just think it's good.
Yeah.
Hello, Abby. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Abby wants to say hello.
Hi, Abigail.
Here's Abby, the golfer.
Why am I the only one that calls Abigail? Nobody else calls her Abigail. Everybody calls her Abby.
I like that you call her Abigail because then she knows she has another father figure.
Like, yeah.
Abigail Clem, go over.
Yeah. If I drop the dad voice on you, I expect Abigail. When you first got your license, what did I tell you?
Not to text and drive.
And if I ever saw you texting and driving, what would I do?
You were going to pull me over and rip me out of the car and take my keys.
Yes, that's right. And I said it in the dad voice too. And I'd say, Abigail, what are you doing?
and she knew it would be okay with her me dad.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Jackie says, hi, Abby.
Hi.
Peggy says, hi, Abby.
Hey.
Robin says, happy birthday, Abby.
Thank you.
Hey, what the heck? We got more people saying hi to Abby than us.
I know. That's not fair.
I'm just the favorite.
Peggy, you are.
Thank you.
All right, get out of here. We got to work.
Wow.
Go away, child.
Yeah, it's just fun, Curtis. It's just fun. We just like to have fun with it. That's all. Peg says hello from Peg and Pat in Summerville Crossing. Hey Jeff, we loved your video of your trip to Key West.
Oh yeah, that was fun. So we have my wife and I have another channel. We're actually going to show a little something tonight. It's called Greg Getaways, where we just kind of do videos of our vacations. And we flew down to Miami and then rented a car because I had never done the drive down to the Keys. and then we drove back. If I did it again, I might rent a car. You can rent a car one way. I might go down to Miami and then do the ride on the way down or back, and then just fly out of Key West one time. But it was a lot of fun.
Would you ever drive from here to Key West?
That's a long drive. It's about 10 hours, I think, from here to Miami. And then so it would be like a 13-hour drive to go straight from here to Key West, probably.
That's a long ride.
Yeah, a little too much.
Yeah. Robin said Roper Berkeley Hospital is amazing. So she's recently had to use that, and she said everybody there was awesome. Yep, I agree, Robin.
Yeah, we actually we have clients right now that I just met with them last week. He's coming in to work there. He's an X-ray guy, and he's starting there pretty soon.
Nice.
From like Colorado or something.
Paul, Masters Week. Yes, Paul. I actually had it on our calendar and blocked our calendar for Thursday.
He did.
In front of our big screen, and I had to remove it because we're busy this week.
Yeah.
And we had some clients coming in. So I had to remove it in order to take care of our client, because clients are always first.
I've kind of given up on getting Masters tickets.
Yeah.
I've wanted to go forever. And when I remember, I do throw my name in the lottery every year. But everybody that I've talked to that has been to the Masters has said, you know how perfect and beautiful it looks on TV? And I said, yeah. They said, it's like better. It's even better than that.
With our big screen TV, I was kind of excited about it. Like, I might even just go in the office on Sunday or Saturday and watch it there. Like, there's so much coverage now because of how big the Masters is. Like, sitting at home might be better than going there.
So I'll do that Saturday. I think we have an appointment down in Mount Pleasant Saturday around noonish, and then we have a Zoom call with somebody at 2. Maybe we'll do that from the office, and then we can watch some golf.
It's pretty smart. Is it a Zoom on Saturday? I thought we were going there.
Well, we have an in-person meeting for a listing down in Mount Pleasant.
Okay.
And then we've got a Zoom call with somebody that's coming in a week or so.
Gotcha. Peggy said, great idea. Jackie says, I have a friend at the Masters. Yeah.
No cell phones on that course. You know that?
I saw that today. Yeah.
Not a lot. You get caught with a cell phone, they will throw you out.
We do a lot of Zoom calls, everybody. By the way, that's what we're talking about. Here's the link to schedule it at the end of the video. Much later on, we'll have a QR code as well. But if you ever want to get, down and dirty on what areas and neighborhoods and, ask questions individually with us, you can go ahead and schedule that meeting right here with us. We'd be happy to do that with you. All right. I think I blew through all the comments so far. Keep those comments coming and any other questions that you have. We love those questions. Curtis says RBC Heritage at Hilton Head is more accessible and a great experience. Jeff, you've been to that, right?
Been there. Yeah, you're right. It is a great experience. Mark and I, every year we talk about going down to that, and then we just get busy and sidetracked and we don't make it. But we did. I've been to the RBC Heritage. It's a great run. Lot more intimate, quiet, not all the big crowds. And then remember in COVID, that one that we went to some. Remember the course up in Canada because of COVID, they canceled the tournament, and so they just were looking for any golf course, and they found some golf course in South Carolina and said, "Sure, why not? Let's do it."
And they had it there the next year too. It's like one of the nicest golf courses I've ever seen.
Yeah, but it was one you'd never heard of.
Yeah. Curtis said, unlike Augusta, you can actually play that course down at Heritage.
Yeah.
Nice.
I always love seeing the big boats down there too.
Yeah. All right. Kyle said, fiance's looking at Roper or Summerville. I'll be a new grad psychiatric nurse practitioner, so I have no idea where I'll land a job, hopefully in telehealth. Oh, that would be smart. Would you recommend a different neighborhood? Yeah, I would say if you're going to be Roper or Summerville, you either want to be in the middle of Summerville or over on the Berkeley side of Summerville.
Yeah, Nexton, Cane Bay, all that.
Yeah. Cane Bay, Nexton, Carnes Crossroads, Hewing Farms. Those are the big ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Psych was one of the most interesting precepting things I did when I was a paramedic.
You
That was really interesting working this.
You were a subject, or you were learning about it?
I had to work the psych hospital for a few shifts. That was.
I thought maybe you were one of the patients.
It's possible, but I like psych. Psych was fun.
Yeah.
I get to make friends all day.
All right, let's get into some real estate stats. If I can share my screen here. All right, last week market overview. So all the experts are saying good buying activity, but nothing crazy awesome though. So it wasn't like super impressive like during COVID or anything like that, but it is good buying activity. Almost the same as last year, that last week, maybe slightly less. They were saying condos, townhomes, there were 65, so that's 4 less than last week. So that 65 to 70 is where we're continuing to see the condos. Last week we saw as high as 4.3 million for a condo townhome, and this week as high as 2.85 million. 27 of them, one less from last week, were all between 300 and 500. So here's your number: 334 under contract, 254 single family though. So that was up about 12 from last week. Median was 545, just like Curtis said, right around that range. 266 a square foot. Mortgage news slightly up 0.14 from last week. So 6.85 on a 30-year fix, 6.25 on a VA. And I don't know. I feel like we'll see that slightly come down or stay around where it's at. I think
it's been trending down for weeks.
Well, I think last week was the lowest it had been in a year and a half or something like that.
Yeah, and then I don't know if all the tariff talk made that spike this week or not.
Yeah.
But the markets seem to be settling into that in a little bit. So I'll be interested to see what happens next week because we've been trending down quite a bit.
Yeah. All right. How many over 1 million? Everybody put their answers in the comments. Let us know how many you think are going to be over 1 million. Before the last 4 or 5 weeks, we've been trending around 26. And lately, we've been somewhere between 40 and 70, right, Jeff?
I'm going low this week.
You going low? 34. Jeff says 34. Does anybody have any answers around that? Higher or lower? Who was it? Rose. Rose was on top of it the last 3 weeks.
Yeah. If Rose is on, I'm going to switch to whatever she said. Kyle. Kyle's my guy now. That's me and Kyle got this tonight.
Yeah. Kyle said 34. Rose. There's Rose. She says 47. So pay attention to that number, everybody, because Rose has been on it.
Yeah. Don't listen to me, Kyle.
Ken says 47. Robin says 39. Peggy says 37. Abigail says 46. Anybody else? All right, let's see who the winner is. So Abigail and Rose are pretty close, and Ken's close.
Dang it!
Our true number is 46.
40.
Good job, Abigail.
Abigail Clem.
I didn't even tell her. I promise.
I don't know if I can trust this process. Somebody that was in the room with you not more than 7 minutes ago, all of a sudden guessing the right answer.
Right?
Coincidence?
Look at yes, I beat Jeff.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, let's remember that next time your birthday or Christmas rolls around.
Yeah. She doesn't realize that sometimes she has sleepovers over your house.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. The things that we can do.
Sleep lightly.
Robin says, yay, Abby. All right, Curtis has a question, I think. Mark, I know your kid is into golf. If a retiree moved to Cane Bay or Nexton, what golf club or course would be best for quality and convenience from the
Mark, we only have 41 minutes left on the live. So let's keep this answer time-wise appropriate.
Yeah. So quality and convenience. I would probably have to say Crowfield for number 1, which is in Goose Creek, because it's only 15, 20 minutes from the entrance to Cane Bay or the back entrance to Nexton. Even closer if you live in Carnes. And then I know you like what is it, Pine
Forest.
I wanted to say Pine Hills. Pine Forest. That's decent. I like Crowfield better than Pine Forest for sure. Berkeley is you can go out the back way, but Berkeley's pretty flatter, where Crowfield has some moguls and tough. Crowfield is not real long, but it's a challenging course for sure. Very pretty. I would say those are probably the closest ones.
I just looked up on my phone, like from where I am, where are golf courses? Look how many.
Yeah, crazy, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of golf courses.
Yeah. And then, I would definitely take some, when you have more time, that 45 minutes away, going up to Santee, there's 3 beautiful golf courses there, and it's only 45 minutes from here for sure. So those are nice one-off courses. So when you get tired of, playing the same course. And
then, of course, 2 hours and 15 minutes to Myrtle, the Mecca.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Robin says Crowfield too. Robin says Coosaw. Robin, you got to be a member there. You can't just go in there. So a member or a guest of a member.
That fence isn't that high. If I can get over it, you can get over it.
But Coosaw is beautiful. Like if I had to live on a golf course and I had the extra $25,000 initiation fee, I would probably live in Coosaw for sure.
But Coosaw is an interesting neighborhood because the homes, in my opinion, are underpriced because you have to have a golf membership.
Right.
So we see some gorgeous estate-style homes on the golf course starting, in the 600s mark?
I think I've even seen a couple below that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you were a golfer and you can swallow that you have to be a member of the club, gorgeous houses. My parents used to live in there.
Or you ask your realtor to try to get $25,000 in closing costs from the seller for the initiation.
If anybody can do it after the deal you got this last week for our client, you could do it.
Right. Yeah. I missed a comment. Hey, Wes and Heidi, how are you guys? Hope you guys are doing good. Thanks for joining. Wes, Heidi, I got this cool map. So one of the listings we have going live on Thursday, the guy was from Brockton, Massachusetts, and in his garage, he has this cool map of almost all of New England, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, and it's one of the real older maps. So he had it framed, and so when you come in the office, it's hanging in the office now.
You already put it up?
Yeah, I put it up. You didn't even see it?
No.
Yeah, it's over the snack bar. We have a snack bar in the office.
Oh. You would think I would have seen it. That's one of my places I like to go in the office.
Right. But yeah, so those are the heavy hitters. Real estate sales were about the same so far in 2025 as 2024. Mortgage rates have moved just back under the 7%. The Fed had predicted 3 cuts for 2025, but has now backed off on any cuts. So I thought that was interesting. Year to date, we're down 2.6% in transactions, but median sales price is still strong with a 3.1% increase versus the same period in 2024. So it just follows what you always say, Jeff. This market, pretty much year over year, with the exception of like 2008 and COVID year, we see that 3 to 5% increase, right?
Yep, pretty steady.
Yep.
So if you're waiting for the rates to drop, just know that house is going to cost you 3, 4, 5, 6% more next year than it is this year.
Right. And that's where we make the argument sometimes where it might make sense to go ahead and start the build on that house or, purchase that spec home, even though your taxes might be a little bit higher as a second home, you might save because of that 3% increase.
Yeah.
Upcoming event, the River Dogs start again April 4th, so just the other day. The Low Country Cajun Festival on James Island County Park is the 12th. We just had the Flower Town Festival and the Bridge Run last weekend, so there was a bunch of people in town last
We
weekend.
made it through alive.
Right? I didn't even go near that place. I really wanted to go Friday, but we didn't have time.
You know, I've been telling people, like, it's kind of crazy. We went over there Saturday evening about 5 o'clock because Riley had a volleyball game
Yeah.
at Summerville Baptist, which is basically right beside where
Yep.
that festival is. And I might have been over exaggerating how crowded it gets. At least Friday or Saturday at 5 o'clock. Like, it was
shuts
not
down at 6, so most of the people are going to be gone by 5.
okay. So maybe late afternoon. Like I think everybody goes at 9 or 10 in the morning. Maybe
Yeah.
the deal is wait till 2 o'clock.
Yep, I think you're right. Low Country Cajun Festival, and then the High Water Music Festival is at Riverfront Park. That's over by the old Navy base,
Yeah.
So that's coming up the end of the month for sure. Let me get to Ken's question. Are there any communities like Hammock Walk Nexton in the Myrtle Beach area?
Boy, if you're looking for like a duplex townhouse 55 plus, I would have to look into that. If you want to email me, jeff@charlestonarealiving.com, I will look into that for you.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there are. I just don't know them off the top of my head.
I just don't know by name, and we have agents in that market that we can check with.
And they're not new construction though. Most of them are going to be older, right?
They are. We don't know. I mean, we would know if there was any new construction stuff like that. But there could be existing ones. But obviously, there are some. If you're looking for single family stuff, then that's we got those all day. But if you're specifically wanting an attached duplex quad, something like that, I'd have to look into it.
Yeah, we'll look it up for you. Okay. So economy stuff booming right now. So West Ashley and Mount Pleasant will be the first in South Carolina for the expansion of IQ Fiber. It's a fiber optic internet service from the Jacksonville, Florida area. The investment in the Charleston region is more than $40 million, and it will employ 20 to 25 local employees. I didn't know there was an IQ Fiber, so that's kind of cool.
Is that the kind of stuff that keeps you regular?
No, this is like internet, fast internet.
A different kind of fiber.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boeing has a partner now with their $1 billion expansion project. Charleston Southern University approved construction on a new residence hall. So it'll be like a 3-story and it'll hold 216 more agents. Also, I heard they are getting a new program for pilots and flight and that kind of stuff, which makes sense with Boeing being here. Planters Inn was acquired by a Wyoming real estate firm.
That's a cool hotel.
What's that?
That's a cool hotel.
Is it? Okay. Charleston Wine and Food Festival. They have 90 events this month, I think. They've been around since 2005. $170 million impact, economic impact on the region. A lot of that, well, not a lot of it, but $535,000 was going to scholarships and local incentives and stuff like that. Daniel Island Tap House is expanding with a new Charleston in Carolina Park location.
I wonder if fancy schmancy beer places are becoming this popular all over the country, or if Charleston just has more than its fair share, because I feel like we have a lot.
Yeah, I think we have more than our fair share. I think it's growing in popularity, but I feel like we're ahead of the curve. There's a big, huge community, Magnolia Landing. They recently broke ground on the infrastructure for that. It's going to be along the Ashley River, 192 acres. And it's a blend of parks, marina, residential offerings, hospitality offerings, office space, retail, restaurants, waterfront docks. So we'll have to do some videos on that for sure. And then the last one, because you guys have the best realtors in the world, It just hit the news now.
It's in the news now.
Yeah.
We've only been talking about it for a year.
Yeah. So Del Webb is going to have Point Hope Del Webb down on the Cainhoy Peninsula in Berkeley County. And they're saying doors to open for residents in late 2025, 2026. But by the video that we just did the other day, I think you and I are both thinking 2026, right, Jeff?
Yeah, it's going to creep. Do me a favor, if there's any Pulte people watching this, just turn off the volume for a second there. Mark, did we or did we not almost get my car stuck down there the other day?
Yes, we did. But you booted that thing. That little Hyundai did good.
I have skills when it comes to being off road. I have gotten stuck in some mud before, so I know how to work it. But yeah, it was. I was happy that we found a paved road to go in. And dude, hey, that video shoot. How long till that video comes out, Mark? It'll probably be a couple weeks yet, right?
Yeah, probably 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. Well, make sure you watch that one. Mark was getting attacked by these big giant.
Oh my gosh, they were huge.
They were like that big.
Yeah. So if you want to pay $100,000 more for a Del Webb house and get attacked by bugs, that's the place for you.
That's it. Yeah. Way to market there, genius.
I'm just kidding. They were just like those flies. It wasn't nothing.
They were big.
But like I got a little nervous when you said this is not good. We got to get out of here.
Yeah. No, it was. I did not want to have to call a tow truck back in there.
Yeah. Jeff, you just got to be careful when you bring these things up because you got to remember my wife watches every week. And
we did definitely not almost get stuck, Sharon. It didn't happen. He was fine. The airbags barely went off. It was no big deal.
And that's it for all the comedy news.
Words are hard.
Words are hard, yes. Oh, all right. So, what do you think about all that? That's a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah, man. I just saw a comment come in.
There's the wife with the face palm.
Sorry, Sharon.
Robin says y'all are busted.
Right? All right. So, tell me about this deal you did this week, Clem.
Yeah. So one of our clients, super young, looking for a place they've been renting, and they were just fed up and tired of throwing money away and giving it to somebody else and not getting any return on their investment for where they were living. So they lived in like 2 different apartments and they were just a little frustrated. So we've been looking for a while for like the perfect storm, you know, and we found it, and we got them under contract on Saturday, and they were super excited that something in their price range would come up. Now, it was using a special loan called a USDA loan. So USDA loans you have to have in certain areas. Well, luckily, this place was still super close to the highway, but you know, in the USDA area, so that we were able to use this loan. Mm-hmm. So I'll pull up some charts in a minute just to kind of go over that loan. But what we ended up doing is getting a brand new townhouse still under construction. We're going to close the beginning of June. We got the townhouse price of the townhouse down to $255,000. It's a 3-bedroom townhouse, 2.5 bath. It's got some woods behind it. Now the land behind the fence is for sale, so there could be some sort of commercial thing going in there. But supposedly there still has to be a woods barrier there. The loan type allows for 0 down payment. Now, just because you have 0 down payment doesn't mean you don't need any money to do this, right?
Right.
And then we were able to negotiate some closing costs in there as well. So, and the HOA covers the entire exterior. So they do pressure washing, they do the lawn. Like, this is like a perfect place for them. And it's brand new by Starlight Homes, a fairly reputable builder, a division of Ashton Woods, in a great area. So they're only like 15 or 20 minutes from their church. One of them works downtown, so that's a little bit of a ride, but he's super close to the highway.
Yeah.
And then she works within 15 minutes as well. So just like a perfect location, lined up really, really nice. Zero down. We got most of their closing costs covered. You do have to pay your earnest money. The HOA was still $260 a month, so you got to factor all of that in. But the big thing is part of the loan. The mortgage company was buying down the rate, so they got a 3.99% rate as well. So just really, really awesome.
So compared to what their rent was versus what they're going to be at because when you have rent, you don't have a big insurance policy. If you're a renter, you should still have renter's insurance.
Yes.
But then you also you don't have to pay taxes as a renter. That's already built into there. So when you do apples to apples, what did it look like for them?
Yeah. So it was about $80 to $85 more than their rent, with everything included: taxes, homeowners insurance, and the HOA fees and the mortgage payment.
Okay. So for another $80, they're building equity instead of just handing away,
Exactly. And most likely their lease was coming up in August. Most likely their rent was going to go up when they had to renew.
Yeah.
So it was probably going to end up being the same.
Yeah. It's probably a wash after that renewal. You're right.
So I put a few bullets together that we can kind of go over. So it's called the USD housing. It's you have to be the right fit for this. I've got some bullets on the next slide that goes over it, but it's basically a government-backed loan program offered through the United States Department of Agriculture that helps low to moderate income housing purchase safe and affordable homes in eligible rural areas, often with no down payment. So the no down payment isn't always, but often with no down payment.
Now, I want to comment on the rural part because they do their mapping, I think, like every 8 or 10 years to determine what is USDA eligible.
Yep.
And with the growth that we've seen in Summerville, you've got houses now that you wouldn't think would be USDA housing eligible. Like we've got some in Cane Bay even.
Yeah. So
that
in the back
are still eligible, but probably won't be the next time they do the math.
Yeah, you're probably right. In the back of Cane Bay, when they first started building townhouses here, they were going for great prices. And I helped, I think, 5 different clients all as soon as they started building these brand new townhomes. And, they were, church leaders and teachers and those type of things, and got them into these townhomes with this same loan product. And they were just astonished at, how this was working, because the builder was also paying for a bunch of closing costs on that product. So,
the builder doesn't care if it's USDA. At the end of the day, they're still going to get their same dollars. So it doesn't matter to them.
Yep.
The only thing that's a little bit more squirrely with USDA is a few more hoops to jump through when it comes to the mortgage, but that's on the mortgage underwriter, not you.
Right. Yeah, you might have to
just make sure we work with mortgage companies that are familiar and well-versed in USDA, no different than when we do VA or anything else.
Right. And you might have to provide some extra paperwork, or, you might feel like you're jumping through some hoops because it's got to go through the mortgage company's underwriting. And then once they feel like it's rock solid, they've got to send it over to the government to get through their underwriting too, because the government just doesn't want to give money to anybody. They want to make sure it's rock solid as well.
And we all know how streamlined and efficient the federal government is.
Right. And that's what I was just going to say. So this is not a 30-day close. This one just happened to work out perfect again because it's still being built. So, it was supposed to close the end of May, but in order for it to work with their payment, for their lease and everything, we pushed it out to the beginning of June so that their first payment isn't due until August 1st.
That's amazing.
So,
you hit a home run on this one.
Yeah, it just lined up perfect. But that gives the mortgage person that 60 days
Yeah.
to get that through their underwriting and the government underwriting. So it should be plenty of time. I've seen it done in 45 days. It's better if we can plan it out long like this, though,
Yeah.
and give them 60 days to do it.
Yep.
And like I said, there is some cash needed. So even if the USDA loan works, you're going to need earnest money. Now, if you get all your closing costs covered and your down payment covered through the loan, there's a chance you could get that earnest money back. Like at closing, they give you a check back for that. And then, of course, we're going to make you pretty much do a home inspection. So you're going to need $500 for that, for sure.
I had one that they bought the house basically for $2,000.
Yeah.
That was all it cost them in cash to buy the house.
Yep. So you might be eligible if you have these kind of 3 to 5 things lined up. So you got to have a credit score of 660 or higher. If you're close to that 660, let's say you're 648, you probably still want to get with us and we can try it, because we have seen some in that 640 get approved, but 660 is really where you want to drive to it. Your combined household income, this number is a little bit up in the air, but 120 was the number that the mortgage person gave me.
Okay.
I've seen it as low as 112 that has to be under. But, even like two people working might not make $112,000.
Now, what if you're a polygamist and you have multiple wives? Do we have to count on the income from all the wives?
Well, it says combined household, and in some of the requirements I saw, like 1 to 2 people, it could be 112,000. If it's 1 to 5 people or 3 to 5 people, then it goes up. It can be like 130 or something.
We haven't had any multiple wife yet.
No.
We've had some crazy, interesting, really cool clients, but no polygamists yet.
Yeah.
If you're a polygamist and you'd like to move to South Carolina, please give us a call. Schedule a Zoom call with us, and we can talk about what you and your wives are looking for in a house and find a great house that'll fit you and your very large family. I'm done.
Debt to income ratio. So it just shows, debt to income shows the percentage of your monthly income, how much of that goes towards paying your debts, including your housing payments, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and other obligations like car loans, student loans, credit cards, all of that stuff. These two numbers, it's 34% is one range, 41% is another. The mortgage person will figure out, based on your credit report, kind of if you fall around those numbers. And then the other thing usually requires 2 years of consistent work history, but not always. So if you're, 1 year, 10 months, they might be able to get that approved. And then, of course, we got to find a property that's USD eligible, and we'll be able to help you, with all of that. We're not mortgage experts. These are just the things that people, mortgage professionals, have told us what is needed. And these are the things that we know are needed based on how we got our clients approved and all that.
And if you're doubtful that, like, if you're worried about one of these things, we'll just have a conversation with the mortgage people before we go out and start walking through doors. Like, we don't have to go through the whole mortgage underwriting process to get you approved, but let us have a conversation with Landon or whoever, and just say, listen, here's the ballpark. Do we think we're okay? And if he gives us his blessing, we know you're okay.
And that's exactly what we did with this client. We didn't even step through a door until we knew they were USDA eligible, because we were so worried about the payment number that we wanted to make sure that was rock solid before we got excited about any homes. So we had a meeting with them. Then we talked to the mortgage person of the place we thought would be eligible and what incentives they had. And since everything looked like it was going to line up, then we had the clients apply. And then I took them out to see it once we knew, this should work.
Gotcha.
Yep. So worked out really well. Home run. If you're in a similar situation like that, and you're renting and you're tired of renting and you meet some of those criteria we just went over, definitely schedule a Zoom call with us. So, or if you're local, come in the office.
I've been saying it for quite a while now. It is a great time to buy a house. It is turning into a little bit more of a buyer's market. There's a lot of special programs. Like we're in the middle of Hometown Heroes right now for medical staff and police, fire, EMS, teachers, librarians, all that stuff. But there's another program that runs all year round for first-time home buyers. And if I remember right, it doesn't mean that it's actually your first time home. You just can't own a house right now.
Right.
So it's not, I shouldn't even call it a first time home buyers.
Yeah.
You just can't own a house now.
Yeah.
And that gets you access to much lower mortgage rates. I think FHA and VA are down in the high fours, if I remember right.
For that program? Yeah. Possibly.
Yeah. So there's a lot of special. That's why it's so important to have a Zoom call with us, because let's find out what path you're like. Are you a home equity conversion mortgage person?
Right.
Are you going to be paying cash, but you're going to sell your house somewhere else to do so to be able to pay cash? Do we want a bridge loan, a HELOC loan? We're pretty good at figuring out what the sweet spot is.
Yeah. So that was a huge win this week for sure. I think we can find that in all aspects of life too. So obviously that couple was super young, but there may be somebody that's already in that spot that wants to move up and do, a little bit bigger house, but doesn't have, $500,000-$600,000 for a house.
Yeah.
We were in a community today, Jeff, that was a home run for that move up buyer that needs something in that 4 to 450 range, right?
Yeah, some nice houses. In a fantastic location, right in Nexton.
Yeah. So this is Bradford Point in Nexton. They have their own amenities, so they don't share the amenities of Midtown or Brighton Park because they're on the Cane Bay side of Nexton.
Yep.
So they have their own HOA. So here's the pool, the little kiddie area, covered area to get out of the sun, plenty of chairs and stuff. Over here in the back, they have a soccer field. There was a basketball court that doubles as a pickleball court. Mm-hmm. So really cool amenities for kind of a smaller neighborhood, right?
It was. They're doing all spec homes in there. We were in them for what the house we were looking at was like 376. Is that what it was?
Yeah, I got it right here. 373,140. It was the Dunlin with 1,500 square feet, 3 bedrooms.
That's the one level, and lots of storage in it. Everything on one floor. Had 2 bedrooms at the front. One could be an office. One could be a spare bedroom. Obviously not a 55 plus, but I wouldn't say a lot, but we've had a decent number of people that have come to us and say, listen, I'm down with the one level living. I just don't care about the whole amenity center so much.
Right. So
this would be a great option at well under 400.
Yep. And then 5-bedroom houses. We were in one of these Wimbrels, 2670 square feet. They had the guest bedroom and bathroom on the main level. And really, there were 2 bedrooms on the main level.
Yeah.
So if you had a mother-in-law and a guest suite, you could have downstairs.
Wait a second. Hold up. You're saying if you're saying live with your mother-in-law, not only in the same house, but on the same floor.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, sir. No, sir.
What? You love your mother-in-law.
I do. There was the look. Did you see that? That was the look where the filter, it came in and it stopped the words from coming out.
But this is a great neighborhood. Like we put, actually, here's a great story. This is exactly what happened. The townhouses I was talking about, they bought a USDA townhouse in the back of Cane Bay. They just leveled up and moved into this neighborhood. How fun!
Oh, that was them. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, they just did that. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So it worked out perfect. And they got a really good deal on this house too, because there were some good incentives. There's always good incentives going on these places for sure.
This builder is pretty good at having some sexy incentives, rate buy downs, closing cost assistance, all that stuff.
Yeah. Where do we want to go next, Jeff? What do you want to talk about?
Show what Andrea did this week. Andrea
All right.
went out on Saturday and she got invited to some I don't know how to say it, like a petting zoo when you go make a candle. It's the most girl thing ever.
Candle making with goats.
Candle making with goats, yes. So this is on the channel, on the Greg Getaways channel also. I ended up putting this together. But this you got to go watch this on the Greg Getaways because the sound is with it. This goat spits on her, right? Hold on, I think it's coming. They're spit on her, and then now the goat is eating her hair.
Eating her hair.
Yeah.
Did she need a haircut? Because
She did not need a haircut. That's my wife. Yeah. I was so happy she didn't come home with a goat.
Can you imagine?
She got her nose broken by a sheep one time.
Oh.
It was at church for the Christmas pageant thing.
Yeah.
And she was one of the animal handlers. Oh, look at that little guys. Yeah. Oh, I'll go back to that in a second. So you go to this place and you pay whatever it was, and you go and you pet goats and play with bunnies. And there's a dog with a weird tail there. Oh, there it is, with a purple tail. And then you made a candle. And she said that she was there for like an hour and a half. She said they had a great time.
Oh, that's cool. So that just kind of shows the lifestyle. Like we've got everything.
Yeah, Summerville really does have it all. There's I don't know what that is.
Is that a cow?
Some kind of cow? Yeah.
Mini cow?
It's Tanya was brushing that cow later in the video. It looked very pleased with being brushed. So yeah, one time, Andrew, we were working the Christmas show at the church, and Andrea was responsible for cueing the sheep to go on stage. It was a sheep or a goat. Anyway, the goat got stage fright, and so it didn't want to go on stage when it was supposed to. And so she gets down on the goat's face. And it's like, oh, come on, Mr. Goat, it's time to go. And the goat comes up and cranks her right in the nose and breaks her nose.
That's awful.
Yeah. So now I see this farm animal just hurt my wife. I'm going to go kill the goat. And I was told it wouldn't be good to kill a goat in church. I was mad. But so my friend, this was when I was in EMS, and my buddy was the ER doc at the local hospital. And so I called him up and I said, yay, Andrea broke her nose. Like, how'd she do that? She got, headbutted by a sheep or something. And boy, I don't think you could ever do this now, but we went in, we didn't even register. Oh. He just took her back, gave her an x-ray, set her nose, and out the door. They didn't even, I don't think we could ever do that anymore.
And if anybody is watching from that hospital, his name was Jim Smith, right? No,
I'm still friends with him, and he still is an ER doc, so we're not going to sell him out.
All right, we got a few comments here. Robin said great investment earlier. Okay, so cute goats. I came home with one long ago. They cry like real babies.
Oh, I've had enough of that.
And then she said that other one was a Highland cow.
Okay.
Oh, Robin said goat stew for the.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've eaten goat, by the way.
Have you?
Yeah, in St. Martin, maybe? Okay. No, Jamaica. Ocho Rios, Jamaica. I had goat. Almost got arrested there.
Huh.
Yeah, we had a tour guide, and he was a terrible tour guide. He was taking us to all these places the day that we didn't want to go, and he was late, and we were always getting ripped off. And so at the end of the day, he came up in that really annoying Jamaican accent and said, how's your day? And I said, Phil, you've been screwing with us all day. His name was Phil. I don't think his name was Phil, but that's what he called himself. And he got mouthy with me. And I was with my brother, and I was about to punch old Phil in the face because I had it. And Andrea and Jason, my brother, he was like instigating. He was like, yeah, do it. Hit him. And so Andrea came up behind me, and she said, and she just whispered in my ear, the cruise ship is leaving in 2 hours. I'm going to be getting on the cruise ship. Do you want to be in a jail in Jamaica as the cruise ship leaves? And she was so calm about it. And I'm like, Okay. I got back on the cruise ship, but I ate goat that day.
Peggy said, I watched that video. Andrea is a natural. Love her. Oh,
Yep, me
Peggy.
too, buddy. Me too. 26 years.
Heidi said, sorry I couldn't respond earlier. I was driving. We forgot to schedule our appointment last week. It's okay. We forgive you. Just go
You're
ahead and do it
forgiven.
now. You can go to the little link.
Go to the link.
Go to this website, schedule your meeting.
Easy.
Not a problem.
Easy
No problem.
stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Mark, what videos do we got coming out in the channel soon?
All right. So you threw me for a loop there. I've got to go.
Sorry.
I've got to go
Yeah,
find
I
it.
feel like you always just remember all this stuff.
Sometimes I do, but like I've moved stuff around so much because we go to a neighborhood, it wasn't ready to be filmed yet, so we had to move.
Yeah, that happens a lot. So I know we got the Del Webb Point Hope video coming.
Yep, that's coming on our Live in Carolina channel. We actually have the Del Webb Greenville video that came out today, so that'll be interesting to see.
It's gonna be so weird to have a Del Webb with hills,
right? Remember that hill? Like we almost didn't make it up that thing.
Yeah, I remember us mountain climbing that day. I was not pleased.
We just had the next in Del Webb golf cart drive-through come out. Seems like people like that one, so that's good.
Good.
We got a new little neighborhood coming out the 11th called the Essence of Chandler Crossing. Stanley Martin is the builder over there.
Yep.
It was super close to that big playground that you like all the time. Yep. So that's coming out on the 11th. We've got your neighborhood golf cart driving coming out on the 13th.
And I've got it on my calendar for May, somewhere like 11th, the 5th, somewhere in the beginning of May. Yep. We're going to have access to the new amenity center in my neighborhood here in Carnes. So we'll get a video out as soon as we can on that. I'm super excited to see what that looks like.
Yep. And then we've got a Toll Brothers neighborhood in Simpsonville coming out on the Live in Carolina channel on the 15th. Berkeley Bay, that's a cool one out there by Volvo. So that'll come out on the 18th. And
that's gonna be that's the new area.
Yeah.
Of Summerville. I feel like in 3 years we're gonna be talking about that area like we talk about Nexton and Cane Bay now in Summers Corner.
Yep. Camp Hall, it's called, right?
Camp Hall, yep.
And then after that, on the 20th, we have the new amenity center Horizons. So we got some drone video of that, and we're gonna, do that. So sometimes these videos take a while because our editors got to get to them, and we gotta plan them out.
It's normally because the editor's like, guys, I need you to focus.
Yeah,
you got to stop doing this. You got to stop doing that. I need you to do this better.
Yeah. Heidi asked me to post the link again. So Heidi, at the very end of the show, there'll be a QR code that you can just scan with your phone, if that's easier for you. If you want to wait a few seconds here, because we are about to wrap it up.
And as you're watching the videos over the next month that comes out, tell us when you see the video that you could tell that we used a new camera on and we didn't quite know how to use the settings correctly yet. I think you'll be able to tell when you see it.
Well, live and learn, right? Live and learn.
Yes, but we have a brandy new camera that's really cool. And once we know how to use it, I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, I think it'll up our game a little bit.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, we are at a full hour, Jeff. Any final words that you'd like to say?
So, yeah. For my friends out in the Summers Corner area, in Horizons and Summers Corner, my church, Seacoast, is planting a campus out there. It's going to be at Sand Hill Elementary, and it's not going to be opening up till this fall, but they're having a pop-up event on Easter. So 10 o'clock on Easter Sunday at the Sand Hill Elementary School, Seacoast will have an Easter service out there. So stop out, tell the pastor I sent you, maybe get an extra blessing if you say you watch Mark and Jeff, and go check it out. They did this recently in Cane Bay. So there's a church campus out in Cane Bay now also at the Berkeley Prep, right? Berkeley Prep?
Yeah, Berkeley Prep.
Cool. And so now there's going to be one coming in the fall. But Easter morning, 10 o'clock, Sand Hill Elementary. There's going to be an Easter service there for you people out in Horizons over towards Homecoming, Summers Corner area. Go check it out.
Will they get an extra blessing or extra prayer? They'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Mark and Jeff. Let me pray for you now.
Yes. Either way, you maybe get an extra blessing, and the pastor might pray for you because you're friends of ours. And clearly you need it.
All right. Well, that wraps it up for tonight. Thanks again for bringing us into your homes and allowing us in your living rooms, on your TVs. 65% of people watch us on TV, Jeff. Did you know that? 65% are watching us on the big screen. I did not know that number. I love it. I love it. So thanks for inviting us in. Thank you for watching. And I hope you all have a great week until next Tuesday. We'll see you later.
See y'all.